Okay, so immigrant inspectors kanina, pinag-usapan tayo mga commissioners. Okay, dito naman tayo sa immigrant inspectors. Now, remember, all airports, they have an immigrant inspector. So sila yung taga-check ng passport and visas ng mga taong palabas at saka papasok sa Pilipinas. Ito say, yung Pilipina, pupunta ng Amerika. So kailangan i-check yung kanyang passport and visas kung legally documented ba siya. Now, under the Section 5, Paragraph A, the position of immigrant inspector is created, appointment to which shall be made upon the recommendations of the Commissioner of Immigration in accordance with the civil service laws. So meaning, appointment to which shall be made upon the recommendation. So, if there is a recommendation coming from the immigration commissioners to those aspirants to become an immigrant inspector, so kailangan mag-recommend yan ang ating commissioners, no? Immigrant inspectors shall receive a salary, the maximum which shall not be more than 3,600 pesos per annum. So, wala na ito ngayon, no? Mataas-taas ng sweldo ito ngayon, baka nasa mga 90,000 o 100,000, no? Kasi mga ano ito, mga key positions ito. Under the paragraph B, whenever he shall deem it necessary, the Commissioner of Immigration may appoint with the consent of the proper department head any qualified employee of the government to serve as acting immigrant inspector. Acting immigrant inspectors shall have the same powers and authority as immigrant inspector kasi nga acting. So, they have the same powers. They can decide, they can change, they can appoint also an employee who wants to apply, no? So, we have the other employees. Ano naman itong other employee? Under the Section 7, all other employees of the Bureau of Immigration, except otherwise provided in this act, shall be appointed by the head of the department. Kunyari, ang head doon is ang immigration inspector. So siya yung mag-appoint, yung mga nag-apply, yung mga clerical job, no, and other office work. Upon the recommendation of the commissioners of immigration in accordance with the civil service rules and regulations, as they shall receive such salaries as may be assigned to them, conformably for the provisions of Commonwealth Act number 402. Now, for the Board of Commissioners, under the Section 8, the Board of Commissioners herein after referred to this act shall be composed of the Commissioner of Immigration and the 2 Deputy Commissioners. In the absence of the member of the Board, the department head shall designate an officer or employee in the Bureau of Immigration to serve as a member thereof. So, kunyari, pag absent yung Deputy Commissioner, wala siya, so yung immigration inspector shall be act as a member of the board, no, in behalf of the deputy commissioners who are absent on the said occasions. Okay. The Bureau of Immigration started as the divisions of the Bureau of Customs during the American regime in 1899 and way back in 1902 also. This was pursuant to Act number 702 of the Philippine Commission. It was appropriate because ship travel and ship cargo were interlinked, and hence the office of the Bureau of Customs, it seems that the government then gave more importance on the entry of goods than monitoring on foreign nationals coming into the country. So kasi ang Bureau of Customs, mas focus na doon sa mga items or commodities which is transported into our country or living in our country rather than strict monitoring on the foreign nationals. So kaya meron silang Bureau of Immigration din, no? The government was more interested in generating custom duties from these goods than in the control and regulation of the arrival and stay of foreigners. So, kaya maraming mga foreigners noon. Yung tatawag natin, mga refugee, kasi nga ang focus ng Bureau of Customs is more on commodities kasi nga mas malaki ang bayad doon. At madali lang siya makita kumpara sa tao na babantayan mo. The functions of immigration remained under the said Bureau until 1937, when it was transferred a division of the Bureau of Labor. The functions of immigration were transferred in 1937 as a divisions under the Bureau of Labor. So, noong 1937 pala, yung Bureau of Immigrations, they are now under the Department of Labor, no? Yung talagang medyo nagkaroon ng independency of their functions. Because as we going back with the work of the Bureau of Customs, they are more focusing on the incoming and outgoing products because it will focus on the more revenues or justiciable payment of the custom tariff. So hindi ka na give more tensions on the arrival of the foreign nationals. So that's why the Bureau of Immigration was created and it was transferred to the Bureau of Labor, and they are now making an independent agency. This was mainly to respond to the arrival of Chinese nationals who own and operated trade houses, stores, and restaurants in the country. So dahil dumadami na yung mga inchik na dumadating dito sa Pilipinas, so kaya iniwala yung Bureau of Immigration para sila yung mamahala at mag-inspect or mag-monitor sa mga parating at pauwi na mga inchik, no? Para makita yung mga dokumento. On January 22, 1940, ito na yun, yung talagang naiwalay na sila, no? The Second National Assembly of the Philippine Commonwealth enacted the Philippine Immigration Act of 1940. It was signed into law by the President of the United States of America on September 3, 1940, creating the Bureau of Immigration under the administrative supervisions of the Office of the President. So, totally, in 1940, nahiwalay na nga ang Bureau of Immigration based on the decisions and the approval of the U.S. President, in which the said department or agency shall be under directly the supervisions of the President. Okay? So sa Pilipinas yan, ha? A year or later, it became an attached agency of the Department of Justice. Later, its also administrative control were returned to the office of the President. On July 25, 1987, President Corazon Aquino signed an Executive Order number 292, also known as Administrative Code of 1987. The said order renamed the Bureau of Immigration. It continues, however, to perform all the powers and functions it had while still commissions and head of SS still remains to be called commissioner as provided under the DOJ. So, totally, no, on July 25, 1987, based on the administrative code made by the late former President Corazon Aquino, the Bureau of Immigration is now totally separated, but the heads of the said department shall be remain as a commissioner, and they are now under the control of the Department of Justice. Okay, so bumalik ulit sa Department of Justice. So what are the general functions? The general functions of the Bureau of Immigration, they will act as the primary enforcement arm of the Department of Justice and the President of the Philippines, ensuring that all foreigners within its territorial jurisdiction comply with the existing laws. So meaning, the Bureau of Immigration is an enforcement arm or primary enforcement arm of the Department of Justice in terms of the foreign nationals who will enter in our Philippine territory to control and regulate the enter of the foreign nationals in our country. The Bureau of Immigration shall assess the local and international law enforcement agency to secure and the tranquility of the state against foreigners whose presence or stay may be dangerous to national security. So like for instance, yung mga wanted foreign national nagtatago sa Pilipinas. Kasi meron man tayong tinatawag na treaties, no? In other countries. No? So, yung may mga countries na merong treaty sa atin, so we are responsible to give assistance to those countries who have an existing agreement for extraditions and repatriations. So, tayo ang tutulong doon, no? Public safety, public morals, and public health. So tulad ng mga pedophiles, no? Yan. So yung mga Amerikano na mayroong mga dalang sakit na pwedeng makakawa sa Pilipinas. Okay? The Bureau of Immigration will act as a chief of repository of all immigration records pertaining to entry, temporary sojourn, yung tinatawag natin ng mga turista, no, or mga scholars, admissions, residence, and departure of all foreigners in the country, tulad dito mga Bombay, yung mga Indian, no, yung mga Indian Turk na nag-aral dito sa Pilipinas. So yan, no. They are subject for monitoring by the Bureau of Immigration. Even those Chinese who are engaged in business in our country, no? But sabi nga natin, hindi nga nila mamonitor lahat kasi nga kulang sila sa manpower. Yun naman palagi ang rason ng gobyerno, no? Kulang sa manpower. Now, let's go to the specific functions of the Bureau of Immigration. So the VI is in charge of its broad functions. The Bureau through its Board of Commissioners exercise administrative and quasi-judicial powers. So meaning the Bureau of Immigration and the Bureau of Customs, they have also police powers, but their police powers is limited on the custom tariff law and the immigrations law. So all law enforcement agencies, kahit tinatawag natin yung law enforcement agencies sila kasi they are given unlimited police powers which having an specific duties and functions in order to protect the peace and order and the safety of the Philippine territory towards the violations of the custom tariff and the Immigrations Act of the Philippines. No? So the Bureau of Immigrations, they have the so-called powers over the regulation of the entry, arrival, stay, or sojourn, and exit, departure of foreign nationals in the country. So nire-regulate nila, baka mas dumami pa sila dito. Tapos hindi na sila ma-monitor, no? Kasi nagtatago na. And then yung ano nila, kaya lang itong, actually maraming overstaying na foreign nationals dito sa Pilipinas. Kaya lang, hindi sila mauli-huli kasi nga, yung iba, nagbabayad, no? Kung parang nagkaroon ng bribery sa mga BI personnels. So yan. Now, monitoring of the entry and exit of Filipino citizens in compliance with the Philippine laws and other legal procedures. So under the Bureau of Immigration also give assistance to the Department of Foreign Affairs and controlling the exit of the Filipino citizens, no? Or leaving of the Filipino citizens from our territory. So kailangan tingnan yung mga papilis nila. Issuance of immigration documents and identification certifications on non-immigrant or immigrant and special non-immigrant visas. Ano itong special non-immigrant visas? Ito yung mga scholars or mga consultant, no? Issuance of special permits in relation to the enforcement of immigrations, such as special work permit. Ito yung mga consultant, yung mga foreigner sa mga engineering project, no? Provisional permit to work, special study permit, re-entry permits and clearance, and etc. Then extension of stay of temporary visitors, yung tinatawag natin na, let you say, tapos na yung kanilang tourist passport, and then they want to continue their stay, so they are subject for the renewal, no? Then it is subject for reprocessing of the renewal. So they need to report to the Bureau of Immigration in order to apply for the renewal of their passport or visa if they want to stay in the Philippines for another year or month, no? So yan. Administrative determination of citizenship and related status, tulad ng mga sinasabi nila na hindi sila dual citizenship sa trabaho yan ng Bureau of Immigration to verify the truth and veracity of the claims of one nationals, no? Investigation, hearing, decision, execution of orders pertaining to exclusions, deportation, and repatriations of foreign nationals. Ano itong mga repatriations? Ito yung mga nagtatrabaho dito sa Pilipinas na overstaying na so kailangan na silang i-repatriate, no? Kasi paso na ngayon kanilang dokumento. So, deportation, these are referring to those persons who are violating our laws or ordinances in our country. Okay? Implementation of whole departure order. So, tulad ng kunyari, itong sabi natin kanina, yung mga politiko na mayroong kaso, tapos nagbigay utos yung korte na whole departure order. So, hindi siya pwedeng palalabasin. Okay? So, kaya ang whole departure order, it is very difficult. Why? Bakit mahirap ng whole departure orders? Because any Filipinos have a right and privilege to live in our country freely. No? If they do not facing a case in the other authorities. Okay. So, pag walang kaso sila sa korte, kasi korte lang ang pwedeng mag-utos na hindi sila pwedeng palabasin. So, blacklist. Who are those blacklist? Ito yung mga foreigner na merong nagawang kasalanan dito sa Pilipinas na which is, yung simple, violations, no? Kaya lang, bina-blacklist lang kasi they are one of the possible things that they will make problems in our country. Yung mga watch list, no? Yung under watch list naman, ito naman yung mga, let me say, yung mga galing sa ibang bansa na which is their countries having an issues to our countries, no? Immigration lookout bulletin orders or alertless orders. So, kaya tinitignan yung mga mukha nila. So, kung naka-blacklist sila or under watchlist yung tao, so yan, hindi i-hold sila, no? Hindi sila pwedeng makalis sa ating bansa. Cancellation of immigration documents upon violation of immigration laws and procedures, no? Kunyari, overstaying, hindi sila nag-report, nagtago-tago sila, nagigano sila dito, yung illegal migrants, no? So, kumbaga pa yan, parang TNT, tago ng tago. Investigation, arrest, and detention of foreigners in violation of immigration regulation and other Philippine laws. So, yung mga overstaying, no? Yung mga nagtatago. So, sila investigahan, tapos i-detain nila doon sa kanilang detention cell. Kaya lang, maraming nakakatakas kasi nga, binabayaran yung ibang personnel, no? Hindi naman pwede makatakas yan kasi nakalock up yung silda. Alangan na meron yan silang susi. Accreditation of schools and learning institutions that can officially accept and enroll foreign students. Yung tinatawag natin na foreign language schools, no? Dito sila mag-aaral para mag-aaral ng Pilipino or whatever. Kunyari, may eskwelahan ka, nag-offend ka ng language school, Japanese language school, no? Or Filipino language school o Japanese-Filipino language. So yan, kailangan mag-apply ka ng accreditations sa Bureau of Immigration. Accreditation of law firms, liaison officers, travel agencies, and other individuals and organizations transacting with the Bureau of Immigration, especially yung mga, did we say, itong tourism, yan, meron din sila accreditation ng Bureau of Immigration. And then yung mga travel agencies, no, yung mga nag-cater ng mga nila dito. Yung kung magtatravel sila, magpamasyal, yan, no?